Alright guys, I'm back today and I wanted to do a video of my Nintendo DS collection. Going through this box of stuff, I've found all types of crazy stuff before I get into the games. Just random stuff like this shark thing. You like squeeze it and you see the body parts in its mouth. A Stone Cold piggy bank. Yeah, I think it was supposed to talk at one point, but yeah, this thing's pretty crazy, so thought I'd just show that. An old Ninja Turtle. I mean, I guess this is Bebop, like Caveman Bebop or something, but yeah, maybe one day I'll be able to go through and just do a video on all my toys and stuff like that, but this box is full of these like unopened McDonald's toys. Like this is the Smurfs. And then I found some other a WWF stand. Now if you bought the WWF action figures, they would come with these stands so you could like display them. And I also found the tag team titles, so I thought that was pretty cool. Some old WWF stuff there. But for some reason I also happen to have like a regular Nintendo Tiger Heli instruction booklet. Very bizarre. And I also have Tecmo Bowl, the instruction booklet for Tecmo Bowl. So yeah, that's just a few crazy things I found. Now on to the Nintendo DS games, which I have a lot of. This is a really good game right here. This is Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. This game is kind of like the old PlayStation 2 Grand Theft Autos, top down. However, it is really good, and it does have a more mature stuff in the series, which is surprising because it is Nintendo and it's Game Boy, but it does have a lot of mature stuff in this title. And I thought it added a little bit of stuff with the stylus, like some unique stuff. I think there's a part where you have to like stop a guy who's having a heart attack by like rubbing the control pad with the stylus, and you know, you have to hijack cars, and if you don't steal the car while the person's in it and you just go to a parked car, you have to like turn the stylus to kind of hotwire it. So there's a lot of cool stuff in this game. I really like it. I thought it was well done, and for the top down, it's got great graphics, and the city is huge for this, surprisingly huge. So that's that game. This is an RPG, Magical Star Sign. Very underrated. It's not as popular as some of the other big name RPGs in the Nintendo DS, but it's still very good. I would recommend this game. And I think it was only like $10 when I got it, and it hadn't even been out that long. I already did a video on this game, Jump Ultimate Stars, for the DS. It's full of just damn near every manga character in Weekly Shonen Jump. Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, Hitman, everything is in this game, and it is awesome. You have to import it because of all the copyright problems, but it's definitely worth importing, and it plays just like Smash Brothers. Trauma Center Under the Knife. This is a really great game, a great series for the Wii or the DS. You're like a surgeon and use the stylus to kind of fix people, sew them back up, put staples in them, remove diseases, all types of cool stuff like that, and it's just a really great game. This game was another one I got for really cheap, Lost Magic. It's kind of an underrated title in the sense that not many people bought it, but it's actually pretty good, and I think it does have an online mode, or at least you can play local online, but it's still pretty cool. It's kind of a, what would you call this? It's kind of like an RTS game where you build up your army and then you send them out, and you use the stylus to create spells on the bottom screen, and you can strengthen your army with those, but it's a really fun game. Plus it's really cheap, so you can't really go wrong with it. Final Fantasy III is another great game for the DS. Final Fantasy IV also, I don't think I have that one, but Final Fantasy III is great. It's just a remake of the classic series with awesome graphics. The story's amazing. and one of the best Final Fantasy games ever, in my opinion. This game, for awesome collections to have for anyone who has a Nintendo DS. This game. This is Nacho Libre for the DS. Now, I didn't really play this one too much. Let me see if it says this here. Play as 20 powerful luchadors, 4 different arenas from the movie. There is no way to figure out the special moves. That's my biggest problem with this game. See if you can see the back here for Nacho Libre. I love the movie. It's one of my favorite movies. I'd love to see a sequel to this. I think it's awesome. However, the game, not so much. Graphically, it's kind of like Fire Pro, but it tells you all the characters have special moves, but I have no idea how to do them. I looked it up online, and I guess no one bought the game because no one tells you what the special moves are. Absolutely no one knows. That's game breaking. So yeah, that's a big problem. Azuna, Legend of the Unemployed Ninja. There's a game like this, Shiren the Wanderer, I think it is, and it's kind of like that where you can play through these dungeons, but if you die, you lose everything. And I mean everything. Once you're dead, you're freaking dead in this game. But it's very challenging. You just walk through dungeons, leveling up, getting spells. But if you keep going up in the dungeons, it's just like one big tower. You keep going, it's going to get tough. And if you're not prepared, you can lose all your shit. So, very challenging game. Teresa. This is... what would I describe this as? It's kind of like... What's that game for regular Nintendo? Where you have amnesia. I can't remember the name of it, but you kind of just see a room and you can touch stuff with the stylus. You can walk through the room and then it'll be text and it'll say, you see a body in here and something reached out and hurt you, and then your character will take damage. It's one of those types of games where you kind of like read it as you play. But it is very fun, and it is a dark story, and there's actually 2 different stories to play through, so you can get a lot out of this game. Yeah, it's probably way too dark to see any of the screenshots here. But yeah, it's just kind of a story adventure where you walk through and you read the text and find out what's going on. But it is a cool story, and I thought it sounded like a cool game, so I bought it, and it's pretty fun. So, of course, I have the... Go ahead and do these 2. Actually, I got 2 copies of the same game. This is Brain Age. Probably all heard of this. You take tests daily. It has Sudoku games on it. It'll give you like math questions, and a lot of people would say, well, that doesn't sound like a game, that sounds like homework, but it's actually really fun, and it'll measure your brain, like how young you are, and you can do it every day and improve like your counting skills and all types of stuff. Very fun game. I also have Brain Age 2, 2 copies for some reason. The only difference here is I guess this one came out later, so it's kind of like, yeah, this just, it doesn't have anything extra. It's just, I guess, the kind of like when Nintendo GameCube had the Player's Choice or whatever it was. But you can do like time, music. You'll have to hit the notes really fast, and it just measures how fast you are with the game and the questions. This game is great. Well, I don't know if I would say that, but this game is pretty good. Zelda Phantom Hourglass. My biggest problem with this game is you kept having to go back to that dungeon where you had to walk through, and as you progressed in the story, you could go further and deeper in the dungeon. I think there was a time limit. You could only stay in there for a certain amount of time, but it's like you kept having to go back to that place, and that's what I didn't like about the game. Other than that, I thought it was a pretty fun Zelda game. Some cool weapons. You use the ship to travel like Wind Waker, but overall it wasn't bad. Definitely better than most games. It is a Zelda game, so I'd still put it up there, but as for just a straight up Zelda game, probably not one of the better ones in the series. The Settlers, this is another game for the DS that's RTS. You build villages, you fight other villages. It sounds a lot better than it is. This game is just, it feels unfinished, which is strange because it is an Ubisoft game, but it just felt like it was just thrown onto the DS with not much thought. Some stuff in the instruction booklet isn't even in the game. In fact, the menu screen in the booklet is different than the one you actually get in the game. It has more options. So the first thing I'm thinking is, wow, they really didn't double check their stuff here. And you can take control of different nations, but it's really hard to play, and it kind of moves slowly. So I would love to have had better games like Age of Empires for the DS and those types of games, but for some reason, I guess the DS can't handle like hordes of groups fighting RTS style, so it ends up being like turn-based. And I don't really want that. I want the RTS experience, but I guess they just couldn't pull it off. Don't really have much to say about this. We all know this game is great. Mario Kart DS. You can play this online. It's got a ton of great courses. First one that comes to mind is the Battleship course. That's awesome. The Pinball course. Sadly, online doesn't have all the courses. You can only play a select few, and some of the bigger in-depth ones aren't in the online mode. So that's a little disappointing, but for the most part, it's a great game, and it's just Mario Kart. So, I mean, can't go wrong with that. I have the Sims 2 Castaway. I have actually yet to play this one. I'm a huge fan of The Sims, though. It's just the DS games aren't really typical Sims games. They're more of an adventure that you have to solve with typical Sims stuff thrown in, like you have to constantly eat and sleep. So they do add like more of a story to the DS versions of the Sims games. Yeah, this is actually not my game, but I do have this one, My French Coach. I don't even know if this counts as a game. It just teaches you French. This is from, I think this is my sister's game actually, and yeah, I've never played it. So then we have, what else do we got? I got a lot of these games. This is another game that was hers, Animal Crossing. I enjoyed Animal Crossing on the GameCube. I have it on the Wii, even though I've never played it. But the only reason, this one's not even opened. This is brand new. But the only reason I kind of fell out of Animal Crossing is once Nintendo started the Virtual Console, they didn't really have a need to put the unlockable NES games into Animal Crossing. And when I heard about Animal Crossing and how you could unlock games like Punch-Out and stuff like that, I was like, this is awesome. You can go through. It gives you a reason to keep playing so you can unlock more of these games. Now, with the GameCube and this version, when you don't have that anymore, or not the GameCube, but the Wii and DS version, when you don't have the NES games to unlock, you're just unlocking clothes that no one else is really ever going to see or care about. And I just don't really like that. I would have loved to have had the house in the game full of regular Nintendo games. So I am a little disappointed they took that feature out, but the games are still fun. Contra 4. This game is very, very hard, but if you can beat it, you can unlock the original game, and you can unlock Super C, which I did, and it took me a ton of trial and error. You just have to play this game, constantly die, and just keep playing it. The only way to beat this game is to just keep going, and you'll eventually get better. When you first play, you're like, holy shit, this is insane, there's no way anybody can beat this, but if you just keep going, you actually improve, and it's not as hard as it seems at first. But still, it gets crazy in some of the later levels. Castlevania, Portrait of Ruin. This is an amazing game. Awesome. I love Metroidvania games. And this one is very well done. You just jump into different pictures and you go to a different world. Tons of enemies, tons of weapons. It's just great all around. Everything about this game is good. If you have a DS and you haven't played Portrait of Ruin, definitely get it, because it's one of the best games you can have for the system. Another great game you should have, Super Mario 64 DS. Basically Super Mario 64, except you can play as Yoshi, Wario, and Luigi. They all have different features. I think Wario's a powerhouse with punches, but he can't jump very high. Different things like that. Yoshi can hover. But it's a great game, and it has a slew of mini games that use the stylus. And this was actually, this and Mario Kart were my first DS games. And when I first got to use the stylus and play the mini games with it, I was blown away. I thought the stylus was the coolest thing ever. So this was definitely a great game to pick up. Plus, Mario 64 is one of my favorite games ever. Let's see. This game I never really played, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk about this. I really, once again, wanted an RTS game, wanted a Advance Wars type of game, so I went with Panzer Tactics DS. And this game just, it's okay. It's more of a World War II game, but it's just turn-based. And that's fine, because like I said, I want an Advance Wars game, but there's just a lot of stuff to this game, and it's a big learning curve, and I just didn't really feel like it. I already had so many games to play. This one just didn't really suck me in like I wanted it to, so I just said forget about it. This game is awesome, though. You can play this online. It is Worms Open Warfare 2. I'm a huge fan of the Worms series. You just have these little worms, and you take turns moving them around the field. You have all types of crazy weapons, sheep, jetpacks, bazookas, everything. Tons of weapons, tons of maps, and you can play against people online. So Worms is an awesome, awesome game, and I'm probably going to pick some more of these games up in the future. Orcs and Elves. It's a dungeon crawling game where you walk. So let's say you come across an enemy and you're walking, you take a step, the enemy takes a step. You take a step, they take a step. If you don't move, the enemy won't move. It's one of those types of games. So you walk around through these dungeons and you can get just weapons like swords and I think magic wands. But it's a pretty fun game, and it's from the creators of Doom RPG also. And I was sad that we didn't get Doom RPG, but at least we got Orcs and Elves, and I thought it was a fun game, and the difficulty does get pretty steep. And there's puzzles and cool things to do, little missions. Dimension the Ward. I got this game. They were plugging it big time on all the websites for Halloween. Showing the graphics, how it's a mature rated DS game. So I'm thinking it's a mature game. It's going to be like Silent Hill. I'm going to get it. And it is pretty fun. In fact, I will probably just do a review on this game right after this video, just where I can talk about this specifically, because there's a lot more I'd like to say about this game. But it's a good one. It's fun. It has some problems, though, for sure. Hotel Dusk, Room 215. This game is awesome. Story is amazing. Really sucks you in. You just walk around this hotel. You talk to people. You have to find out if they're lying to you. You have to take notes in your notebook using the stylus. You have to solve puzzles. And it is a text-based type of game, but it has such a great story. You walk into hotel rooms and you get to explore the rooms. But yeah, the story is just so good. It has cool little things, like you have to close the DS and then open it to see like the answer, and just really great stuff. I highly recommend this game. This game, I know a lot of people like it, but I don't think enough people know about it and just how good it is. And my last game, Kingdom Hearts 358 and a half days or whatever. This game here, I was really hyped for it, and I wrote something on GameFAQs at some point, I think. I can't really remember. But yeah, it was disappointing to me, and I don't think it really delivered like it was supposed to. You just feel like you're fighting the same thing over and over again in this game. All the characters are really unlikable, and you can collect these keys or something like that to increase your strength, and I don't know. I'm gonna, look some stuff up about this one and get back. And I'll probably do another video on this one also, because I did have a lot of stuff that just bothered me about this game. You go to these Disney worlds like Aladdin, Nightmare Before Christmas, all these different cool places, and you just fight the same enemies. It's like every battle is so easy, and you get these magic spells like fire, and that's pretty much all you have to do is just shoot fire at everything and move on. So you'll get to a wall and then you have to stop and fight the same types of enemies. You don't fight like any Disney enemies. Nothing like that. And there's really nothing to see or do in the worlds. You just go there and do the mission and then leave. So it was a disappointing game, I think, but yeah. So that's it, guys. That is all of my Nintendo DS games. I hope you liked the video. Feel free to leave a video response or comments on your DS collections. And that's it. So I hope you guys liked the video, and thanks for watching.